Dr. Goose, when I finished Auburn, there was a group of friends that I had. We had our own little informal survey. We would keep in touch with one another, and we would talk on the phone, and every time they would come around to me, Harold, what's new with you? And my answers were always the same. I was living in the same townhome. I was driving the same car. I had the same job, and no, I still hadn't had a date. And things started changing for me real fast. And all of a sudden, I changed jobs. I had a date, got married, and she just kept having babies. So my 3 kids are here, my wife Kimberly, and so I wanted to bring them, and they're learning the spirit of War Eagle, so thank you for your hospitality. This has been a wonderful opportunity for me to look back and think about what the Auburn experience meant for me. I go back first and remember when my father dropped me off here on campus, and I was telling him, you know, I really don't know that many people here. There are 5 people from my high school that were coming here from Atlanta, and he dropped me off at the little apartment. My roommate and the guys next door were just about to go play basketball. They said, Harold, do you want to go? I looked at my dad and said, go. So I changed, got dressed, and we went to the Student Activity Center. And I must have looked the part because I got picked real quick. And I remember I got the ball on the baseline and I shot my first shot. And it was an air ball. And it wasn't just a little air ball. It was not even close. It was a kind of air ball that they would ask, have you ever played this game before? Did you shoot that with your feet? It was an air ball. And so I remember, you know, the restlessness and the difficulty in trying to fit in. I remember the first day of class, even though I only lived 1 block away, I remember the first day of class I walked in the completely wrong direction. I only lived 1 block away from campus and started off in the complete wrong direction. And I remember we all had to do this now. I know we all had to memorize the path at Haley Center to find our classroom and our path out. Because if you ventured off that path, you find yourself on the wrong side of campus. I know we all did that. But it was a struggle to get our legs underneath us. I remember one time going to the flush. You remember the flush? I remember going to the flush. And somebody said, you know, maybe this will help you understand what Auburn Spirit's all about. So I remember going to the flush. The guy in front of me had ordered a shake. And he dropped his shake. And I was going to be helpful to him. And if I had picked up the shake and handed it to him, I would have given it to him. He would have still had about half of it. And I picked it up, and I was being extra helpful, and I scooped what was on the side of it, and I handed it to him, and he looked at me like, you must be new here. But that was the struggle I had, and I remember as I was struggling to try to fit in, I would say, War Eagle, and this didn't feel right. I didn't get that response back. Maybe feel like I was doing it wrong. Maybe I didn't hold my tongue right. Something was not just right. And so it was an awkward time fitting in here on campus. And I remember one night in particular, it was the Auburn-Florida State game in 1984. Y'all remember that game? Anybody remember that game? We were sitting in the War Eagle cafeteria at the bottom of Ford Union Student Center. And we listened to the game on the radio. And we had to listen to the game on the radio because it was a away game, it was a night game, and believe it or not, it was not televised. And not only was it not televised, you know, we also didn't have the internet, as we call it. So we didn't have the internet, so we had to listen to the game on the radio. And I remember Auburn was 16th in the country going into the game. Florida State was 9th. Auburn was a heavy underdog. And the cafeteria was completely silent except for the cheers at the appropriate moments. Everybody was focused on the game, played in over the loudspeaker. It was one of those back and forth games. And at halftime, we went to the locker room. Auburn had the lead 22-17. Well, we came out at halftime. Auburn received a kickoff at the halftime, to begin the second half. Britt Fullwood ran about 30 yards, fumbled. Ball went right to the arms of Eddie Graham. He continued the rest of the way, ran opening half kickoff all the way back for a touchdown. It was that kind of game. Well, the game went back and forth some more. And then with seconds running out, Brent Fullwood, sweep right, 5 yards out, scored the winning touchdown. Auburn won 22-17. Well, something happened to me and everybody else in that cafeteria. We all had to do what? We had to go run Toomers Corner and start rolling. And it was one of the most incredible rolling jobs of Toomers Corner I've ever seen. And we all went to the grocery store right by the Burger King, and we bought all the toilet paper that you can buy. And it was amazing to see the excitement on the faces of the students who were buying that toilet paper. You see, I've got my young kids. You see your young kids when they're waiting too long to go to the bathroom, that little dance they do? This is the dance young men and young women were doing at the cash register, just waiting to buy their toilet paper. They just couldn't wait to get out to Toomers Corner and start rolling. So we started rolling, and we rolled, and we climbed, and we rolled, and we yelled War Eagle, and it didn't matter whether anybody responded back. It was a time where I felt like I caught the bug. I felt what it was all about. For the first time, I felt what this thing that we call War Eagle was all about. And it liberated me to get involved in campus. It liberated me to just do what I needed to do. And I got involved in campus, and we all have our own stories about what happened to us where we felt a part of Auburn University. I saw Mr. Smith, and there's some folks here with some gray hair. Now, these are some pioneers. These are some pioneers. They were here when it wasn't necessarily all that great. So we do need to say thank you to the folks of your generation, because we were able to just walk right in and enjoy. So thank y'all. Thank y'all. This is a special place. We walk around, and the buildings and the construction that's going on, it's moving forward, because great things don't stay great by staying the same. They stay great because you continue to move forward. And so we see all the change, but something that's at core still remains the same. And it's the students, and it's the alumni. And it's a great place. You know, if you don't believe this is a great place, try explaining Heyday to somebody. Y'all still have Heyday? You still have Heyday? Try explaining Heyday to somebody. Heyday is a day where we walk around and we say, hey. Well, what happens when you say, hey? You hit somebody with a special designated person, and maybe it's the 50th time you win a car? No. You say, hey, and they say, hey back. Well, is that all you do? Well, that's pretty much all we do. Oh, well, we do have food. We really celebrate saying hey to one another. We have food, maybe some free food, some barbecue sandwiches. So you have food, you really celebrate Heyday that way. Yes, that's what we do. Oh, but we also have a Miss Heyday. Well, what's Miss Heyday? Well, she's somebody who we really look up to for her ability to say, hey. But it's natural to us. It fits us. We don't think it's strange, do we? Because this is what Auburn's about. And we don't care what anybody else thinks. We don't care, because this is the essence of what Auburn is. Auburn's a special place. When I was student government president, I had no doubt that all things were possible. Since that time, I believe we've had 2 or 3, maybe even more, African-American student government presidents here at Auburn. It's in just 20 years. I believe we have at least 2 black Miss Auburn universities in that time. This is a place where things have been possible for a long time. And we've all been able to enjoy it. We've all been able to plug into it. And so this is an important time for us to be able to reconnect, reunite, rekindle the spirit of Auburn, and think about maybe what we can continue to do for this university. And I know there are 2 or 3 things that we can do. One thing we can do is write a check. We all can think about what resources, financial resources, we might want to contribute to the university. But if that's not in your heart or spirit, within your means, maybe you want to serve in another way, there's still some other things you can do. I know that there are recruiting efforts that take place, that you don't even have to leave your local community. If you get in contact with Tanya Matthews and some of the folks in the recruiting office, they would love to have you come to the high schools in your local community and share what Auburn means to you. Be that local face for Auburn University.